get a ghoster back? And how do we even get ghosted? Why is it happening to us? And why is it such a popular exit plan for men today? How we can get out of this loop of being ghosted by somebody, and why are they coming back later? So what actually are we supposed to do if we've been ghosted and then the guy came back to us? In this video, I'm gonna share with you why did it happen, how to deal with it, and how to avoid it in the future. So make sure to watch it till the end. My name is Katya. I'm a relationship coach, and I help women to build healthy committed relationships and move on after a breakup, because I know how devastating it can be. I'm here to hold your hand through this hell and actually bring you to the healthy relationships and healthy lifestyle. So let's get started. A question, should you take a ghoster back, is very tricky, because first of all, he ghosted you. Secondly, you really like him. Thirdly, will it happen again? And how do you even should treat this situation? Is it try to say definitely not, or is it losing the dignity and self-respect if you're actually accepting him back? That's very difficult and tricky, and many women feel so embarrassed if this happens to them. First, they get embarrassed if they got ghosted. Then they get embarrassed if they actually get the guy back. So I totally get it. It's very confusing, because first you're going through hell when he ghosted you. You keep questioning yourself, why, how, what did I do wrong? How did it happen? What is happening? What is going on? I thought he really liked me. Then you're looking at the situation, yeah, but he apologized. He said that, like, oh, I'm really sorry, I was going through some stuff. But the question here, can you even trust him right now? Does it worth it? Should you trust this guy or not? And my answer is that it's always depends on the situation. Sometimes guys, when they ghost you, they really going through some stuff. And they really just happen to have a really bad situation. Maybe their relative died. You remember in, I think it was in Sex and the City or some another show, when the woman was so mad that the guy ghosted her, that she found his phone number, she called his mom, and then she said that he died. That was super awkward. But let's talk about situations when the guy is well alive. And let's say we see that he's living his life just fine in the social media, but he's not texting you, and he didn't call you back, and he didn't reply. What happened? Why last weekend we spent such a great time together, and then the next weekend he completely disappeared, and then he doesn't call back or reply on the text, and then 1 week later, boom, he suddenly appears, and say, oh honey, sorry, I was really busy. And you're thinking, but I saw you in social media, it sounds like bullshit. And then he's like, honey, I'm really sorry, I know how it looks, but this is not true. And you're like, okay, maybe I should reconsider it, and maybe I should take him back. I don't want to look like a man hater right now, but when this happens, let's get clear. The guy is not really into you, and probably you're just a needy, easy woman to spend a few hours in a week with. And yeah, that's bad, and it's really terrible to acknowledge. But you need to understand, if the guy is not interested in you, he is not interested in you. If he doesn't call you, he doesn't want to call you. If he doesn't reply, he doesn't want to reply. If he hasn't found 5 minutes to explain that he's going through some stuff to you, then he doesn't want. Then he's not that much into you. And then it's up to you to decide, okay, do you actually want to go with a man who is not much into you? Is it the right decision to change the guy even if he texted you back eventually? Women, if the guy ghosted you, probably you were too pushy. Probably the dynamic in the relationships or in the early dating stage was completely broken. Because today, women are so independent. We become so masculine because they act so weak and so needy. So women have to man up and invite guys for days, make sure to get aligned with his schedule, make sure everything is going all right. Stop it. This is not the way. This is not the right dynamic to have. Today, women has to become women again. Only by acting as a woman, the man can man up finally. If the guy who ghosted you texted you again, no need to rush into the argument to say, oh my God, how dare you not to reply to me for this long time? Then he disappears again. And then try to think for a second. Okay, was it actually the first time I was acting this way? Was it hysterical before? Because if this is how you react when he's texting you again, then maybe that's the reason why he ghosted you in the first place. And then that's the thing which you need to work on first. Work on your attitude and your communication skills. Because if you were attacking the man all the time, the man would run away from you. If you demanded from the very beginning that, okay, I want this, you should do that, like that's how I see it, and I have to be treated this way and nothing else is accepted for me. This is so masculine. Then a man starts acting like a woman because the dynamic is completely broken. Then what do you expect? Then of course he just goes to you because you are too much. And if you are too much, think for a second. How did it happen to you? How did it happen that you were successful at work, you were able to have so many friends, and then you fail so much with men? Then probably one of the sectors of your life is really shaky. And you need to work on this first before you actually get into relationships. Because putting the baggage on the guy, making the demands, pushing him, demanding stuff from him, or for example, even have too high expectations about the man after 1 or 2 dates is also ridiculous. If, for example, you don't get the chemistry with him, you don't care if you ghost him, you just disappear and you forget about him. Then why do you think that all the man has to like you? Because you felt that you spent a couple of good hours? Was it really like that? Or is it just in your imagination and then what you fantasized about? Or were you even sober when you spent time with him? That's the questions you need to ask. So before you think whether should you get the ghoster back or not, think what happened before he ghosted you. How was your communication with him? And of course, listen to his explanation and don't attack right away. Because maybe really he had a problem. And then it's okay that the guy wasn't ready to share it with you. Especially if you just met not long time ago. But if you've been attacking the man and then he disappeared and then he appears back and you're attacking him again, let me tell you what's gonna happen. You're gonna take him back and then he's gonna ghost you again. Because nobody wants it. Nobody wants to go through the stuff like this. So make sure to know your value, be confident, and be real with yourself. That not all men has to like you. With not all men will spend an amazing time. And not all men can own their words and actually tell you that, okay, I'm actually not interested in you. It's easier for them to ghost you because they're afraid that you would give them the bad attitude. And if this is the case, do you really want to build relationships with a man like this? I doubt it, because it's not gonna bring any good anyway. So don't waste your time. So the ultimate question, whether you should get a ghoster back or not, is based on his situation and what everything would happen before between you two. And what is the most important here is to ask, what can you learn from this situation? How can you become a better person if you've been ghosted? And how you can avoid this in future? All of these questions we are answering on the Lady Power course. So my coaching program, Lady Power, helps women to build healthy committed relationships and never get ghosted again. You don't bump into men like this anymore. Text me if you're interested. My phone is below. Another thing about the ghosters is that, was it really that sudden? Maybe it was really bad and then he ghosted you because it was just going down the road and this was the only way to stop the argument. If that's the case, that was inevitable, because the person simply accepted their bad situation. And it's not the worst way to set the boundaries. Because if you were violating them, if you were arguing, if you were conflicting, then it's very simple to understand why you've been ghosted. Or maybe you were dating a player. Maybe the guy was in open relationships. Maybe he had another girlfriend. How close were you anyway? If there were a bunch of red flags there, which you missed, then think of the situation again. As I said, evaluate the past, evaluate what had happened with you, and then learn from it and move on. I hope this video was useful to you. Like it, subscribe on my channel, share it to your friends, and have a great day.